Hello, I'm Tracy Barr. I'm a physical therapist in Houston ISD. Today I'm going to go through a presentation about building gross motor skills with body awareness. What are gross motor skills? Gross motor skills encompass full body movements that incorporate large muscle groups working together to perform a function, such as walking, running, jumping, and more. Why are they important? Gross motor skills are important in everyday activities, so it is important to start developing these skills at a young age. They enable children to navigate around their environment in an efficient manner. For example, gross motor skills help children maintain their overall body awareness and posture in a classroom setting each day and allow children to walk around the classroom and perform various activities. The ability to perform gross motor skills can impact a child's performance in their fine motor skills. Gross motor skill activities for kids. Kids develop gross motor skills at different rates. But when young kids have trouble with those skills, it can make gross motor activities like running, jumping, and throwing difficult. If your child's gross motor skills need a little extra help, try these fun activities. An idea to get outside in this time of quarantine is to do a scavenger hunt. I've included a link with free printable scavenger hunt ideas. The game Red Light, Green Light. That's another great way to have your kids work on their gross motor skills. Remember how to play it? One person is chosen to be it, and I mean the traffic light, and he and she stands a good distance away from the other players with his back to them. The other children stand in line facing the player that is the stoplight. A green light and the other players move towards him. He spins around calling red light. The point of this game is to get to the red light, green light, before he turns around. Children in wheelchairs can play this game as well. Messy midline crossing activity. The body has an imaginary line that divides it in half down the middle to make right and left sides. Midline crossing skills are important. This is what allows students to perform their gross motor activities to their best ability. If a student has problems crossing midline, this is a fun activity that guarantees a big mess with an easy cleanup. It provides great sensory play and the all-important midline crossing practice. The focus is on squishy fun, and that takes the student's attention off the positioning. It encourages automatic movement of the hand and arm across the center of the body to complete the task. Materials that you could use to do this: you can use an outside wall, you could use colored chalk, shaving cream, make sure you have a garden hose available, wear a bathing suit or clothes that can get messy. An adaptation of this activity is to use a cookie sheet or butcher paper for indoor play. Directions. Draw a vertical line in colored chalk on the wall at chest height for the child. This mirrors the imaginary midline down the center of the child's body. Tape a stand behind line on the ground directly in front of the vertical line. Squirt a can of shaving cream into a large plastic bowl. Set it on a stool or bench nearby. Have the child take a big scoop of shaving cream in his right hand. Standing at the tape, facing the wall squarely, he can smear the foam on the left side of the chalk line wall. You're going to repeat the process using the left hand to scoop up and smear on the right side of the wall. Each time the child applies the foam to the wall, he is crossing midline. Continue alternating hands until all the shaving cream is on the wall. Show him how to place one hand on top of the other to make big circles in the messy foam for midline crossing. Finally, work together to create a horizontal infinity symbol like the figure 8 in the foam. repeating the pattern several times and reversing direction. Let the child make a mess for a while. After the activity is complete, use the hose to clean off the student and the wall. Some adaptations for this game, other than the butcher paper and cookie sheet. The child can, with difficulty distinguishing right and left, can smear the foam on the wall and be guided to make big two-handed circles and figure eights in it. Standing at the tape line with facing the wall guarantees the activity will involve midline crossing. A child in a wheelchair can pull up to a table with a flat tray divided in half for the shaving cream. Guide them with the right hand, left tray, and left hand, right tray, so their arms are crossing their bodies each time they apply the foam. Another game that we're probably familiar with is hopscotch. Hopping and jumping require strong gross motor skills and balance. Hopscotch is a simple way to practice those skills. As a bonus, you can help practice number skills too. If you don't have a sidewalk to draw on or a playground nearby, you can set up a hopscotch in your house using painter's tape. Adaptation for wheelchair users, go ahead and just make the hopscotch grid much larger so there's room for the wheelchair to turn around. Balloon and bubble play, they're always fun. Balloon and bubbles are a unique way to build gross motor skills because you can't predict where they're going to go. Kids can chase the bubbles and try to pop as many as possible. While chasing them, they have to run, jump, zigzag, and move in ways that require sudden shifts in balance and weight. The same goes for throwing and trying to catch or kick balloons. For more structured play, you can set up a game of balloon volleyball. This can also be done in a wheelchair. If the student is able to propel himself or herself, they can also chase the bubbles. If the child is not able to propel themselves, a caregiver can push the chair and help them chase the bubbles. Materials for bubble play: bubble solution and a wand. Pick a quiet day for bubble blowing in the park. Make sure it's not very windy. Teach your older child to sweep a wand to make bubbles. For a younger child, you can produce the bubbles. Let the child chase the bubbles, try to catch them, stomp on them, squish them in their arms, and a cloud of bubbles, they can just slap at them. Adaptations: give a child who is in a wheelchair a badminton racket or a ping pong paddle to smash the floating bubbles. Blow a gentle flood of bubbles around the face of a visually challenged child so he can feel the delicate burst of bubbles on his skin. One activity that I love doing is dancing. Whether it's a dance class or indoor dance party, dancing is a great way to practice your motor skills. It helps kids develop balance, coordination, and motor sequencing. It also helps your child's awareness of rhythm. For little kids, try using songs with lyrics that add movement, like I'm a Little Teapot or the Hokey Pokey. Younger children might also enjoy dancing with props like scarves. A variation for older children, you can play a game of freeze dance. When the music stops, everyone has to freeze in their current dance pose. If you move, you're out. Here's another fun idea: water bottle bowling. With 5 to 10 empty plastic water bottles and a soccer ball, or another ball about the same size, you can create a home bowling alley in your hallway. Use tape to mark where each bottle should go. And if you can, pour a little sugar, salt, sand, or even unused kitty litter into each bottle so they won't tip over too easy. Variation for older kids: your child might enjoy glow bowling in the dark. Just add a glow stick to each bottle and turn out the lights. Materials that you need for this: plastic 1-liter bottles or plastic half-gallon milk bottles, sand if necessary, a ball, and colored tape. Set up the bottles in a triangle formation at a distance from the child. Gauge the distance by the child's capability. He needs a moderate challenge, not one that's too difficult. Add a small amount of sand or just a few river rocks or marbles or sugar to the bottles if they tend to fall over in the grass or on your floor. You're aiming to help stabilize them, not weight them down. They should topple when tapped with the ball. Draw a line on the ground with the tape for the bowler to stand behind. Remind your child of the rule that not even one toe can go over the line. Take turns between 2 or more children or between you and the child, rolling 3 consecutive balls towards the pins to knock them down. Keep score, laugh a lot, and use a ball the child can easily grasp. A child's rubber ball, bigger than a tennis ball, is best. Experiment to see which ball allows for the occasional strike for your bowling companion. The game should build aim and coordination, not frustration. A child who uses a wheelchair can bowl with 6 half-gallon plastic carton pins and use a slightly larger rubber bowl that can be rolled from a seated position. How about an indoor snowball fight? Houston is too hot outside to have a real snowball fight, so let's have one inside instead. You can use Nerf balls, balled up clean socks, or even crumpled paper for your snowballs. Designate a safe space and decide which pieces of furniture are okay to hide behind. You can even use cardboard boxes to make forts. One note of caution. You may want to consider setting a time limit to help keep your preschooler or grade schooler from getting overexcited. Obstacle course and motor pathways. Obstacle courses get a child moving and give them a goal to accomplish. For an indoor course, you can use furniture, pillows, and blankets to create crawl on, under, and through. Outdoors, you can use things like hula hoops to jump in and out of, jumping jacks, belly crawling, bear walking, and other creative movements that challenge your child to balance, jump, crawl, and run. How to make an obstacle course. You can use a whole number of things. You can use cones, you can use pillows, you can use canned food. You can use painter's tape so it won't hurt your floor in your house. And you can even use chalk. You're going to simply draw the course on the pavement with a few learning stations. You can view a video of this activity in action on the next slide. Section 1 can be jumping patterns. You can start with footprints going in various directions so the child can jump forwards, sideways, and backwards. Section 2 can be a twisty path to walk along to get to the next group of letters to practice and balance and coordination skills. Section 3, circle jumps. Jump from circle to circle to get to the next group of letters. Make sure that you double outline the circles or color them in if you're doing letter recognition so the child doesn't confuse the circle shapes with the letter O. Section 4 is a variation of hopscotch that we talked about earlier. Trace your feet together and then one foot to create hopscotch patterns before the next group of letters. Section 5, running in place. Draw a stick figure running in place in the last large box before the letters. The child has to run in place while reading the letters. Remember, research indicates that movement and learning are closely related. To adapt the course for wheelchairs, you can make the pathway wider and the obstacles farther apart, so there's ample room to navigate the wheelchair or adaptive walking device through the turns. I hope you have enjoyed watching our presentation on building gross motor skills and body awareness. Thank you for watching, and a special thank you to Maddie for showing our viewers how to perform these gross motor activities.